Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Max Revive, where I'm telling you how to do a schema run. This is a brand new challenge run that I've invented, with the help of some of my friends, of course. It is going to have a lot of Let's Plays up on this channel, and it is very simple, but has a bit of things that can catch people, as previous my videos have yada yada. So what is a schema run? It is a collect-a-thon, where you have 20 or 30 Pokemon to catch in a run. What kind of Pokemon? Well, a certain type, but there's obviously not 20 fire types, so how am I doing a fire run in black? Because it's a schema run. It is proxy fire types. You make a list, 20 Pokemon if it's a decent or small sized game, 30 Pokemon if it's a very large Pokemon game like Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, and you take all the Pokemon that are of your type, and then whatever is left, you make a proxy, a schema, a mindset of what that type means to you. Certain moves, colors, motifs of designs, general words that describe that type to you. For example, Breloom is a mushroom-ish kind of thing. It's not a poison type, it never has been one, but you wouldn't complain if you saw one on a poison-type team, would you? You don't complain that, dragon trainers may have Charizards. It's a dragon, but it's not a dragon. It fits. That is what a schema run does. It allows you to be a monotype trainer without having to deal with only having 3 or 6 Pokemon to choose from. It is a monotype run that allows you to actually do it without it being ridiculously unfair. Why is it a collect-a-thon? Because in the run that I'm doing on this channel, I have to catch 20 Pokemon. All the fire types and all the fire proxy types. The game ends, luckily in this case, when I catch the last legendary and beat the final battle, who just so happens to be a fire type and is on my list. The main goal of the game isn't to survive or to beat the gym badges. You measure your progress through catches. You are seeking out and finding one Pokemon of each of the Pokemon types on your list. For example, if I need to go out and catch a Pansear, if they were wild, I could only catch one Pansear, and it has to be the first Pansear I come across. You go out and you go to each route, and if there are 2 of different kind of Pokemon that are on your list on one route, you catch both of them. But it's the first time you encounter them that you catch them. So, quick recap. You make a list, which I have a video pertaining to how you make a list. It's a very complicated process in some ways, but you can have other people, like me, make you a list of a certain type. But the real idea is you want it to be personal. You want it to be personal to you, what this type means to you. Then you fill out the list. So you have your list. What do you do now? You get your starter, whichever one fits your list. Try not to make your list have 2 starters in it. That might be a bit iffy. If none of the starters fit your list, then here's what you can do. If you have an actual copy of the game, you can have someone trade in from another game the primary stage of a Pokemon on your list, but it has to be your in type. If you're doing Ice, you need to get an Ice-type Pokemon as your starter if you want to. You can't get something that's just proxy Ice. And this can lead to some really fun things where you have a Spheal as your starter. Isn't that cool? Now, you get your starter, what do? Because this game can be a little unfair even with the proxy, because of the monotypeness, and just the ramp of catching Pokemon, you get to catch the first Pokemon you encounter after you get Pokeballs. No matter what, like the first Pokemon that you see that is not in your list. For my case, it was a Lillipup. It's not in my fire-type list, but I catch it because it's a crux. It's a, crutch, something to lean on until you get 6 Pokemon in your list. After you get 6 Pokemon in your list, you replace that Pokemon that's not in your list, and you never use it again because it was only there for crux. You can use it as an HM thing if you want. But after this, you go out, you catch Pokemon, you seek out every single one on this list. If it's way in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, if it's in the bottom layer of the Seafoam Caverns, you gotta get it. It's a collect-a-thon. You can't just blaze through the game doing all the gym badges. You need to catch all these 20 or 30 Pokemon. That's the wonder of it. And yeah, so after you do that, after you've caught all your Pokemon, that's the end of the game unless you still have the game to beat. You know, if you catch all your Pokemon before the Elite Four, you should probably do the champion. But in some cases, you may, I wouldn't suggest this, but you may make your list extend beyond the Pokemon League. In that case, it would be finding the last Pokemon on your list and then beating some kind of thing as a reward for that. Now understand that this is not a replacement for a Coma run or Nuzlocke run or Pairlock or Wedlock. This is a different layer. There are many layers to challenge runs. The catching layer, which is Nuzlocke, Coma run, Wedlock with the boy-girl stuff. There is battle layer, which is, in a Pairlock or Wedlock, you can only use 2 Pokemon at once. You switch between them, or shift or set mode. And then there's the, whatever other layer you can think of. This is only on the catching layer. It's not on the, third layer is the fainting layer, whether or not there's permadeath or whatever you want to call it. So you could have a paired schema Coma run, which has schema run rules, paired run rules, and Coma run rules. The paired and Coma runs are variants of other things that I've explained in earlier videos, which I'll link to. But yeah, it's a collectathon. You go out, you make your list, you catch all the 20 Pokemon, you beat the game. There it is. So I look forward to all of you seeing the very well-produced series that are coming on. I have a layout and everything. It's going to be great. And if you want to see my other videos on Coma runs and paired runs, down here. Goodbye, everybody! Enjoy the Let's Plays.